now available in paperback and e-readers. Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other two books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online bookstores everywhere today. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. I got a chance to take a look at the Supergirl trailer this afternoon, and I was deeply disappointed. Now, after watching the Super Mid Superman trailer, it's looking to me like the DC Cinematic Universe is getting off on a bad start, and this whole situation with the DC Cinematic Universe getting off on a bad start is further exacerbated by this follow-up Supergirl movie. Now, this Supergirl movie basically shows the flaws with the whole approach that James Gunn is taking to the DC Cinematic Universe, and what he's looking to do is basically use the same formula that led to him becoming famous with Guardians of the Galaxy. Instead of letting these characters be who they truly are, which are paragons of good, and giving us a bright, hopeful world, what James Gunn does is take us into his cynical vision for superheroes and basically shows us that he basically is not that very talented as related to the craft of filmmaking. Now, what was groundbreaking in Guardians of the Galaxy back in about 2013 or 2014 or so basically feels repetitive and redundant, especially now with this Supergirl movie, and it's looking to me really like James Gunn, even though he's got a different director on this film, overall has taken on some bad habits from his time at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, one of the problems I had with this trailer is it basically has that same feel of a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie in that it feels like it comes off an assembly line and doesn't feel like it has its own unique fingerprint or show us anything unique as related to the character. That was a major flaw that got really repetitive and redundant and made many Marvel Cinematic Universe films feel stale after a course of time, and with the DC Cinematic Universe after the Super Mid Superman movie, this whole Supergirl trailer really shows us how this whole approach to filmmaking really doesn't give us a fresh perspective on superhero movies, but just feels like a repackaging of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And even worse, what James Gunn and his director are doing, again, is just giving us the same film over and over again. And if Superman was mid, Supergirl basically doesn't feel fresh or exciting, and even worse, doesn't really feel like the character many of us Gen Xers, many of the baby boomers, and many young people knew from the Bruce Timm universe. We don't get to see that friendly girl next door character that Supergirl really is, or the character we saw in the first season of Supergirl. No, what we get is the Tom King version of Supergirl, of the World of Tomorrow, whatever it's called, and that version is not somebody that I think that audiences will warm up to. Now, this version of Supergirl is supposed to be some sort of frat party girl, and we get a picture of her dog Crypto peeing on a picture of Superman, and that's not the door you want to open as related to leaving a first impression on viewers. No, the last thing you want to do is make people think negatively about your movies by showing the dog Crypto, again, peeing on your lead hero. That's not something that's going to, again, leave a good first impression on viewers. And as I watched this trailer, I didn't get a good first impression of this Supergirl. No, I was getting turned off by this so-called party girl who flies to places with red suns in order to get drunk and basically isn't that girl next door that Supergirl is supposed to be, because when it comes down to Supergirl, she's supposed to be basically a opposite of not an opposite but a similar to Superman. She's supposed to be this friendly girl next door who wants to be your friend and wants to help, and there's not much help you're going to get from this cynical bitter chick who basically is there to again go out here and present the whole the James Gunn style of storytelling, which really doesn't feel fresh anymore. I mean, after watching Creature Commandos, after watching Peacemaker, he's basically, the whole style is feeling like a one-trick pony and really isn't really giving us the things that make these characters distinct. No, if this is his take on the Superman family, I really shudder at what he would do to other characters in the DC universe, because instead of giving us those paragons of good and showing us the bright, hopeful world that DC heroes come from, what we're getting is a very jaded and cynical picture of heroes who are not really, again, looking to be heroes. And again, that formula works well for Guardians of the Galaxy, but doesn't really work well for DC's superheroes. No, when it comes to DC superheroes, they are bright, they are optimistic, they are hopeful. They, again, make you excited because they represent the best of all of us. But we're not getting to see that best of all of us. No, we don't get to see that best of all of us with a Superman who basically is a punching bag in his own movie. And again, that in and of itself left a very sour first impression on many viewers, and that's what led to many people doubting James Gunn and his direction, because this is where I have a problem with him. Again, he's not showing me anything special or anything new. No, he's showing me the same formula with Superman, and then showed it to me once again, showing me more offbeat characters, taking Supergirl and again giving us this dysfunctional Tom King version. And anything from Tom King in and of itself is just crap. I mean, Tom King basically is the writer who ruined Batman, basically made Mr. Miracle a complete mess, and now is currently running Wonder Woman into the ground. And this is the guy who you want to have adapt a movie out of for your second outing. Again, you only get one chance to make a first impression, and when it comes to James Gunn's vision for DC superheroes, I'm not that impressed at all as related to his technique or his approach to filmmaking, and I'm definitely not impressed with the way he has presented all of these heroes as related to how they are in film. I'm not impressed with the way he's presented these heroes. No, I mean, everything with this whole Supergirl movie just feels all sorts of washed out and doesn't really feel like it's, again, something exciting. Doesn't feel like a film that I would want to watch. And again, the visuals feel bland, the visuals feel stale, and I'm really tired of the washed out way that he presents, again, these pictures. Again, feels like cut and paste of Guardians of the Galaxy with the Peacemaker type scripts. Again, nothing special in this trailer, nothing that makes you say, hey, I want to go out and see this movie. No, it basically has everything that makes you not want to watch superhero movies anymore, and doesn't really answer that critical question that you have to answer before you put fingers to the keyboard for a script, and that question is, why should we care? As I was watching the Supergirl trailer, I didn't see a reason to care about this movie at all. Didn't see a reason to care about anything as regarded to Kara Zor-El. Didn't see anything that would make me motivate to go see this movie. I mean, I didn't see a hero. I didn't see a villain. I didn't see a threat. I just saw, random stuff happening, which is what happens in Tom King comics that basically make them, again, a chore to read. And to put that on screen, it means we're not going to really get a great movie. And again, if you already have a super mid Superman, and then you follow it up with a terrible Supergirl movie, that means that your DC cinematic universe is starting off on a bad foot. And again, as I'll repeat it once more, You only get one chance to make a first impression, and when it comes to the new DC Universe, I mean, it's making the Snyderverse look better in comparison, and the Snyderverse wasn't that great. It did have some gems like Shazam and Wonder Woman, and that's about it. But the whole thing is that at least there was a tone of heroes being heroes and heroes wanting to fight for good. But the problem with Supergirl is that she doesn't feel heroic. She isn't likable. And again, that's not something you want in a superhero character. Now, I don't care if it's true to the Tom King comics, because Tom King comics are hot garbage. But the whole thing is that when you're making a product for a general audience, general audiences don't want to see a frat party girl Supergirl. No, they want to see a girl next door. They want to see the best friend we got in the first season of Supergirl from Greg Berlanti before he turned her into a feminist. And we want to see, again, action and adventure like we saw in the first season of Supergirl, which felt just like the comics. I mean, that was the best adaptation of Supergirl next to the Helen Slater version. And basically, we're not getting that type of DC. Again, the real DC is a hopeful, optimistic place, but James Gunn is giving us his vision of DC. And his vision of DC turns these characters dysfunctional and doesn't really show us what makes these characters great. And when I look at this Supergirl trailer, I just see another cynical superhero movie that basically shows us why this entire genre needs a rest and needs a break. We all need a break from the superhero movies because basically they're no longer about good guys saving the world. They're just about a bunch of angry, bitter people who, again, feel like their job is an obligation and don't really care about what they're doing. And it's hard to care about watching people who don't really care about what they're doing. I mean, it's hard to care about this movie. It was hard to watch this trailer because I know how great the Supergirl character is, and I'd rather go watch Superman the animated series to see the real Supergirl, the hopeful, optimistic character who basically wants to be like her cousin Clark and basically sees him as a role model. I'd rather go watch that or watch Bruce Timm's version, which again really captures the essence of the character, than waste my time with what's looking like another disappointing build of a universe that's basically worse than the Snyderverse ever was. Now, if you want to check out my first full comic, John Haynes at Death's Store, you can find that comic on Lulu.com for the same price as the 2022 Kickstarter. And if you want to check out my heroines on the SJS Direct universe, you can check out the goddess next door, Isis, who basically has adventures that are fun like Supergirl is supposed to have, or the Esteem series, which features the aspiring angel taking on all sorts of threats the way Supergirl should. Or you can check out other heroines I've done, like Matilda Crowley in the Spinsterella series, or in All About Marilyn, or on A Recipe for Success, or The Thetas. And you can find all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me take superhero movies to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed, all-new Esteemed series adventure. Pick up your copy of Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.